Welcome to Counter-Hegemony. My name is Aaron Taus. The thesis of American decline has been around for several decades. In recent years, the Ukraine war and the growing conflict between the US and China have given the debate a new lease of life. Declinist scholars have argued that the US is militarily overextended, financially overspent, and ideologically bankrupt. They view China's rise as a new global hegemon as inevitable. Anti-declinist researchers, on the other hand, have rejected these arguments as a myth. They doubt that the American century will be over anytime soon. What is often lacking in the debate is a critical understanding of the structural underpinnings of US global domination. The power of the US rests primarily on two pillars. First, its military capabilities. US military power remains unchallenged around the world. In 2022, the US was responsible for 39% of global arms spending. That is more than the next 9 highest spenders combined. Since the 1960s, however, US military expenditure as a share of GDP has diminished significantly. With 13% of global arms spending, China is the world's second largest spender. Yet US military domination goes much further. The US has more than 800 military bases worldwide. In comparison, China has only 3 military installations around the world, in Djibouti, Tajikistan, and Myanmar. The US has also installed an unprecedented system of surveillance, espionage, and intelligence gathering of planetary reach. In cyber warfare, US tech giants Google, Facebook, Apple, and Microsoft are closely entangled with the American state. US companies such as AT&T, with close ties to Washington, Wall Street, and the US military and intelligence agencies, control most of the physical internet. The second pillar of US power is the US dollar. After World War II, the US created a new international financial and monetary architecture. It was based on the IMF, the World Bank, free trade, and the US dollar as the international reserve currency. In the 1970s, however, the Nixon administration decoupled the US dollar from gold. With this move, the US managed to expand its global monetary and financial power even further. And here is why. The most important commodity traded on international markets is crude oil. Almost all oil is bought and sold in US dollars. This means that central banks around the world will keep vast amounts of US dollars in their reserves and accept US Treasury bonds as payment. This allows the US to enjoy the unique privilege to run on external debt in its own currency without limits. In 2023, Japan was the largest US holder of US debt. China came second. Its US treasuries, however, have reached the lowest level in more than a decade. For the US, defending the monetary link between crude oil and the US dollar is a key geopolitical objective. US military strength is thus structurally linked to US monetary and financial power. Through the petrodollar system and the scale of its financial markets, the US has managed to control the flow of capital around the world over the past decades. Today, the US dollar is used in 84% of global trade and financial flows. In comparison, the Chinese yuan is only used in 4.5% of international transactions. Yet China is increasingly positioning itself as a serious competitor for the US and other Western capitalist countries in almost all future technologies. And not only this. As a consequence of the Ukraine war, Beijing has signed trade agreements with Russia, in which payment is accepted in local currency. In 2022, the yuan's share in Russia's export settlements increased significantly. Both countries have begun to gradually move away from the petrodollar system. Others could follow suit. This, and here lies the danger for the US, would not only undermine one of the 2 central pillars of its global power, it would also accelerate the process of American decline. That does it for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.